Investing in gold doesn't have to be complicated. I'm Colin Plume, the CEO of Noble Gold Investments, and I want to take the time to show you how investing in a gold IRA can help you hedge your bets against inflation and other economic concerns on the horizon. Visit Noble Gold Investments and get our free gold investment guide on buying gold the right way. And make sure you're investing with the right company. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com.
Good Saturday evening. I'm still reporting on the coup. Eric Trump went on Fox and Friends this morning and gave the most impassioned plea for people to understand the severity of what's been happening in the United States for the past 6 years. I've always liked Eric. I suspect that eventually he will actually jump in the fight the same way his father has, that is, as a candidate. Eric has that purity of heart, just like his father has. Trump speaks the truth, and that's why we love him. He sings to a different level of our souls than any other politician has, certainly during my lifetime. Thank God that Trumps have been willing to invest the bulk of their time and energy in this fight, because they see that no one else is positioned the way they are to take on the monumental task of turning back the communist gambit that has been slow rolling over the American public since Richard Nixon paved the way for normalized relations with the Chi-Coms, an opening that was finally sealed in 1979 by President Jimmy Carter. I think that DA Alvin Bragg has finally convinced a huge percentage of the folks still remaining on the fence that the American freedom we all grew up under is now facing a serious threat that is determined to destroy our freedoms, or in the words of Barack Obama during his campaign speech in Columbia, Missouri on November 1st, 2008, we are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. It has now fallen on the Trumps to make people realize that Obama wasn't talking about making America into a more inclusive, fair, and just society. He was talking about weakening America to the point where the Chinese could quite literally just walk across our open southern border and take over our falling nation without firing a shot. Eric Trump started this excellent 11-minute interview by recounting the night Hillary Clinton called his father to concede the election.
I'll never forget when Hillary called to concede to my father. I was right there. I was right next to him when he got the phone call. And it was within minutes that the Washington Post comes out and says, this is when the impeachment of Donald Trump begins. Right? I mean, this is 10 minutes after Hillary called to concede. Guys, this was their plan the entire time. They're not bashful about it. They've admitted it. Alvin Bragg is out there on TV. He's out there in videos saying, I've gone after Trump 100 times. I went after his administration. I went after his family. You have other prosecutors in New York, Letitia James, who, I'm going to take him down. I'm going to sue the hell out of him. They did this while they campaigned. This isn't after the fact when they knew something or thought they knew something. This is during a campaign where they're not actually sitting in the seat, where they have no inside information, where they have no relevant facts. And they campaigned and fundraised off of going after my father and taking him down. Now, you guys live in New York. I used to live in New York. I know that city very, very well. I go back to New York, and I said this the other night. You literally can't walk into a Duane Reade and buy Advil because everything's locked up behind plastic because there's so much looting, there's so much crime. Homelessness is through the roof. Little girls are getting shot in Times Square. Women are being thrown in front of subway trains. And this has been the priority of the Manhattan DA's office for 6 years, is going after Donald Trump. And they went through 11 million documents, corporate documents, 11 million documents. They didn't find a damn thing. And so on the eve of my father, obviously just running for president, just announcing his candidacy again, when he's up by 35% in the polls, this is how they take him out. Guys, this is a coordinated effort between attorney generals, district attorneys from various different states. They couldn't get him through the executive branch. They tried damn hard. We all know that. We saw that with impeachment 1 and impeachment 2 and all the other hoaxes. So guess what? They turned to a state level. They turned to these weaponized prosecutors funded by George Soros to go after him and his family, and it's a disgrace to this country.
Eric, you guys have had to fight back from minute one. You're exactly right how you described that. How do you continue to fight back now? What does the next weeks look like for your father and your family?
Well, we fight, Will. I mean, that's what we do, right? Pete, we go out there and we fight. That's what we've had to do since the moment he came down that escalator. We've done it as a family. We've been incredibly successful. Believe me, they wanted to get him out of office. They wanted to throw him behind bars. You saw that with this Russia hoax. I remember I was the guy that got the phone calls. Do you have secret servers connected to the Kremlin in the basement of Trump Tower? I start laughing. I go, first of all, we're like mainly cloud-based computing. Second of all, you don't keep servers in a basement because basements flood. Like, what kind of nonsense is this? But despite the lack of logic of all of this, they pursued that for 3 years. And guess what? We had to go out and fight. And we came on these shows and we fought and we made the American people understand that this whole thing was a sham. The problem with the Democrats is they always dig so deep that they end up finding themselves. And guys, that's exactly what's going to happen here. But Americans are sick and tired of a two-tiered system. If I was Hunter Biden, I'd be in jail for the rest of my life. I can tell you, Rachel, if you go on my laptop right now, you'll find pictures of Laura, my kids. There's going to be no hookers. There's going to be no cocaine. There's going to be no illegal drugs. It's going to be nice pictures of my two beautiful young children. But yet I'm the guy that they're coming after, while Hunter Biden sells finger paintings for $500,000 to random people all over the world who want political influence.
They raided Barron's bedroom, and they still haven't gone into Hunter's.
Yeah, I think about that. A beautiful 15-year-old kid who adores soccer. They raid his sock drawer. Yet a guy who has laptops. I mean, guys, the question I want to ask everybody, and I want to ask the whole nation, is what product was the Biden selling? I mean, you know what we do, right? We've been in the hotel world for 100 years. We've been in, the golf business. We have commercial real estate, residential, retail, a bunch of other things, right? Properties like Mar-a-Lago. What product was he selling that China is writing him a check for $1 million?
Yeah.
And we all know the answer to that. It's kind of a rhetorical question, but guys, it's influence, and everybody knows it. That's why Hunter is taking Air Force 2 with his father, overseas. He doesn't know a damn thing about oil and gas. What does he know about the Ukraine? He doesn't speak the language, but yet he's sitting on all these boards. And yet, again, they're raiding Barron's closet, a beautiful 15-year-old kid in high school, and not doing a damn thing about Hunter. People are sick and tired of this two-tier system of justice. And guys, I have to tell you, people in this country understand it. I was on a plane. I was on a commercial flight when this whole indictment broke. People were coming up to me, giving me hugs. The support is unbelievable out there because people understand that we've literally become a banana republic, that they've made a mockery out of our legal system in this country.
So, Eric, we've talked this morning about what happens next for your father, what kind of motion, what type of legal process begins starting Tuesday. I'm curious about your belief. I think we have some insight into your father's belief about his prospect for a fair trial in New York. He put this out on Truth Social last night. He said, the judge, quote, assigned to my witch hunt case, a case that has never been charged before, hates me. His name is Juan Manuel Marchand. He was handpicked by Bragg and the prosecutors, and the same person who railroaded my 75-year-old former CFO, Alan Weisselberg, into taking a plea, pled guilty, even if you're not, 90 days, fight us in court, 10 years, life in jail. I think he means life because he's 90. He strong-armed Alan, which the judge is not allowed to do, and treated my companies, which didn't plead, viciously, appealing. So it sounds very clearly like there is no expectation for a fair trial when it comes to any of these pretrial motions or whatever may happen in front of this judge.
Alan's a good man. I know Alan incredibly well. He's a second father to me. And literally, they told Alan, you tell us anything about Trump, you give us anything, give us any little bit of dirt that leads to conviction of Trump, and you're gone. You can go sailing away. Guys, that's all this is. Yeah. They put a 75-year-old man in jail because he said that, he wasn't going to cooperate because there was nothing to cooperate with. But that's been their game plan. They've gone after so many people. And just go through the list, not just Alan Weisselberg, right? They've gone through everybody that's close to my father. They've gone through, clearly, all of us. They've tried to get all of us. They went to Alan Weisselberg. But look at General Flynn. Look what they did to him. Look how they just tried to destroy his life. Look what they did to Manafort. I mean, just go through the list of lawyers that they've attacked, of campaign individuals that they have attacked. They've taken 24, 25-year-old interns in the White House, and they've literally bankrupted them because they go after them. They send them subpoenas. They need to go out and get legal representation. I mean, this is the game that they play. And that's why this, guys, is a coordinated effort. They attack everybody in the inner circle because they think that benefits them. And they also throw lawsuits from every direction, right? I mean, they're trying to overwhelm a guy. And you know what? If you didn't have a guy like Donald Trump who had the backbone and conviction and strength, and frankly, guys, financial resources. My father's the greatest fighter I've ever seen. I've never had more respect for the man than I do right now. But this is the game that the Democrats play in order to try and win elections. They're vicious. They're absolutely vicious, and I've lived on the front line of it for the last 6 years.
Eric, no doubt you have. I can hear the passion in your voice. But it seems Republicans, for the most part, have closed ranks. I mean, you've raised $4 million in the last day after the indictment. The campaign put out a long list, a statement of congressional members, House and Senate, that are supportive of former President Trump. Do you think this has an inverse effect? Does it not ingratiate people more for him and his willingness to fight?
Oh, there's no question, Pete. I mean, people are pissed off right now. They are. And they realize what's happening. I mean, you know, it's why certain people, I won't mention names right now, but when they were very late to show up to this party, it actually makes you realize how naive they are to the actual system out there. You know, this will happen to every single Republican. I mean, change the name Donald Trump to whoever's sitting in that #1 seat, and you better believe that their family's going to get attacked, and their friends are going to get attacked, and their cabinet members are going to get attacked, and they're going to be slandered and smeared. And the other side's going to pay for fake dossiers, and they're going to try and impeach them. This is what they do. They weaponize the legal system. I mean, they've literally weaponized every institution that we have in this country. They just have, whether it be the military, whether it be the DOJ, whether it be the FBI, whether it be big pharma, media, social media, censorship. That's their playbook. Schools, higher education, lower education, guys, that's their playbook. They weaponize everything to their advantage. Go out and win at the ballot box, but people are sick and tired of indicting a guy who is literally leading by 35 points because, they realize that their candidate can't walk up the stairs to Air Force One without tripping and falling on himself.
Yeah, Eric, it's interesting. I do think that there is a groundswell of support for your father because they do feel like this is a political persecution. But a lot of it is also because they look at what's happening to your father and they go, what does that mean for me? They saw the way some of his supporters were so unfairly treated at January 6th, many of them still sitting in awful prisons without proper justice being applied to their cases. So just talk briefly, we don't have a lot of time, but why this should matter to every American, whether you like Donald Trump or not.
Rachel, we're supposed to live in a free country. You have conservatives all over the country who are getting deplatformed. Their businesses are getting shut down. Their banks stop banking them. Their web service providers decide to turn them away. They're being targeted by the IRS. You saw what we saw this week, but you also saw what happened under, Barack Obama, where he's literally targeting conservative organizations using the IRS. People understand the weaponization of government, and that's extremely, extremely frightening. We're supposed to be the greatest democracy on the face of this earth, and we're literally turning into a banana republic. I mean, I think Putin would be impressed by some of the things that the Democrats have done over the last 6 years. And again, it's got to stop, and it's why we fight. Believe me, it's hard to go out there and fight every single day. We take arrows every single day as a family, but we'll never back down from the fight because honestly, if we don't take back this country, we're not going to have a country. We're going to be speaking Mandarin, and I'm joking when I say that, but in a certain way, not really. It's awfully scary what's happening out there, and you guys have covered it better than anybody. But that's why we fight, and my father's the greatest fighter I've ever met.
I'm still reporting from just outside the citadel of world freedom. Good day.